Let's learn something really quick.
If you got the time, absolutely. And you got the discipline, there's no question about it.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great practice to put into your everyday life, you guys.
You generally regret the things you don't do, not the things you did do. Let me say it that way.
Mic drop. This was just awesome. I love meeting my guests in person, and it's a whole nother animal, and the energy is just electric. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a former college baseball player. He is a serial entrepreneur. He's also built multiple seven-figure businesses, previous host on 2 insightful business podcasts, a savvy real estate investor, an educator dedicated to empowering real estate professionals and home inspectors, the founder of Training Academy for Home Inspectors, and founder of Virtual Concierge Services. Please welcome Joey Donofrio. Joey, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deanna. That was a great introduction.
Did we add anything else to it? Like, what do you do? So,
I'm a dad, happily married. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love it when guests mention that, because it's just like your life is like kind of pretty balanced then.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Yeah, that's the goal.
So after being a college baseball player, what came first? The real estate, or, I mean, building a 7-figure business obviously doesn't happen overnight. So,
well, it was baseball. Baseball taught me a lot about leadership, a lot of management skills, because when you're playing college baseball, there's levels of leadership. You have captains that are in charge of running the team. Then you have class representatives. That's the way my coach ran it. So it was very leadership savvy. So when I look back in hindsight, I learned a lot about probably running a business and managing a team through baseball that I wouldn't have gotten in college. But when I was in college, I was a business major, business administration, focused in economics. I was always fascinated by entrepreneurship. That was like the new thing when I was in college. Like, oh yeah, let's start diving into entrepreneurship. There was no classes, but they had seminars, and we'd have entrepreneurs come in to talk to us, and I got extra credit for going, so that's probably why I went. But that was some of the most interesting stuff I learned, was learning from other business owners on how they built big businesses.
Yeah.
And so it was the baseball and just that the school that I was at that kind of had this focus that kind of got me the sparks flying of, okay, I want to do something bigger when I get out of college. Baseball is not that route that I go.
That's awesome.
That's kind of where the seed was planted. Just hearing from other business owners.
Yeah, I think that being on a team sport definitely sets you up a little bit for success in terms of leading a team and managing a team, because you learn to like be cohesive as a group. Whereas, someone that's in bodybuilding like myself, it's a very selfish sport. You don't learn to play well with other. No, I'm kidding. I'm a good leader. But it's just an example. Like there, I think you learn so many valuable skills when you are part of a team, and you can take that moving forward with you wherever you land in life. So that's pretty awesome that you said that.
Yeah, it really is. And it tied in. I was reading the John Maxwell book. It was the 5 Levels of Leadership. And as I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, this was my baseball. Mm-hmm. This is my baseball life. Like, this is how my coach set up the program. And this is why we were probably very successful, is he knew how to structure it, which was awesome. So, yeah.
And also knowing the strength of your players, knowing what they are capable of, and leaning on those strengths are, I think, what makes a coach a good coach, right?
Oh, of course. And it's funny, like, you think a coach has to talk to certain players or talk to everybody the same way. He knew how to communicate with different players to get on their level. And he didn't handle everybody the same. He handled people differently based on how their personalities were. And again, I see that looking back now, and can reflect on that.
We need more leaders like that in this world, because somehow they don't understand that you can't talk to everybody the same, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're not all made the same. We're all built differently. But let's talk about your real estate. So you are an investor and you help home inspectors. You have a school for home inspectors. How did that come about? That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, the school for home inspectors kind of like happened kind of organically. Like, I saw the opportunity for it but also to train my own inspectors as I was hiring people to come on and train them. I thought, man, I'm paying for them to go get trained by other inspectors that, in my mind, weren't doing the things that I wanted our inspectors to learn. So it was like, I'm paying for this training, but we're one, training them on our own anyway. So why don't we just invest in creating our own school, getting approved by the state of Virginia, the state of Maryland. And so that's what we did. It took 6 months of just developing coursework, PowerPoint coursework for the students, and got approved. And then I was able to not only help other inspectors get their pre-licensure coursework done, but also our inspectors that we brought on. And I was able to do it for free with our inspectors, and they ended up working for us, and then helping others for a fee. So it was kind of neat how that just kind of coincided.
Yeah.
And and teaching them about the business side of things. I think, I always tell people, like, you think getting your home inspector license is hard or that license hard. That's the easiest part to running a business. That's the easiest part. And it seems like it's hard. No, that's the easiest, because the reality is 30% of the people that take that course will actually go out and do home inspections on their own. And then out of that 30%, maybe 15% will actually be successful for the next couple years doing home inspections. So that tells us that the business side is way more important than the licensing side. I mean, it's important, right? You have to be licensed, so that's a barrier of entry. But that's the start. That's like the start. So helping them understand the business side and get them not only get their license, but then to be able to get inspections and grow a business.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you found a niche in the marketplace for that, which is pretty cool. I personally have not had a good experience with home inspectors. I own a rental property out in the burbs, and the city home inspector is a real, you know what, like, I've had words with him, boy. You got over dumb shit. But hopefully
we're county inspectors. We're not code inspectors.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or we would work for you buying the property. You would actually hire us to do the inspection. So we're not coding in, not telling you, oh my God, your property's out to code or anything like that.
Oh, well, I wasn't really, I mean, my property was fine, but he was just nitpicking me because of the tenant I had in there. So whatever, it was a nightmare. So when you say home inspectors, I'm like, but I don't got to deal with him until 2025. So I'm good.
You're good. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, we're starting to talk about this before we started recording, and I wanted to cut the conversation short because we're getting into the weeds and the the value of what virtual concierge services is. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what it is, why you started it, and what they can expect with using a service like that, and then we're going to go into some of my questions that we shelved.
Perfect. Yeah. So virtual concierge service started because I was trying to help entrepreneurs, our self-employed people, get to the next level. What can I do to help them grow to that 7-figure level? Because that's what we all desire, right? And what's the one thing you have to do to get to 7 figures? You have to start bringing people into your company to work for you. So then I was looking at what's made some of my companies successful? And it's hiring virtual assistants to come in, manage our office, be our office, deal with lead generation, sales calls, handling CRM, social media management. And so I was like, wow, this is something that I should, develop as a lead magnet. And so I was thinking about a lead magnet so I can get into coaching. And then it kind of spawned into, wait a minute, I could do so much more than just coaching. I could actually help staff virtual assistant into businesses, work out almost as like a consulting company to help them grow. But and a lot of things that the startup entrepreneur doesn't have. They don't have systems and processes, right? We help create those systems and processes. So if that BA doesn't work out with your business, you can plug and play and get another person in there, and now you have the systems and process to train them, to get them up and running. So we help systemize your business first and foremost.
Okay.
And then we start onboarding people with the intent of helping you grow. So what is the business needs? What areas are you weak in, that you need help in? Because as a business owner, I'm not strong in every area. And I have to admit that. I'm not the best at everything that I do. But that's the beautiful thing. I can hire people that are really good at what I'm not good at, and they actually like doing those things, which sometimes is hard to believe for us that don't like some of those stuff. That stuff. They actually like doing that. So that's what we do. We come in, we consult the business. Hey, what are your needs? A lot of entrepreneurs don't even know what their needs are. They think that they have to do everything, and the entrepreneur is very scatterbrained. Like a true entrepreneur is very all over the place. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't trust you to do that. That's not how you become a successful business owner. You have to delegate. You have to bring people on so that you can focus on the bigger picture items, so you can work on your business instead of in your business. Yeah. So that's what we help discover. And so I'm very passionate about it because it truly can impact your business in a very cost-effective way to get you to the next level. And that's what we do. So we help businesses get to the next level through virtual employees and staffing.
Yeah. And I think that we're seeing a lot more of these VAs, and there's obviously different levels of them, like you said.
Yeah.
And like one of my concerns, I get the emails all the time, and I've considered it, but I've seen some people that use these VAs and they're not, like I had mentioned before we started recording, like they're not doing things like, so if I was going to have one and they're going to do my social media, I would want them to be almost an expert in social media because it's such a powerful tool. And if they're not tagging people, collaborating with people, specifically on Instagram, or just tagging people in general on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, you're not getting that cross promotion. And so I have someone that I'm working with currently, and he's a coach, and he like has a VA, and I think he's so hands off. I wouldn't have known that they were posting me because I was a guest on his show. Yeah. So I wouldn't have known that he was posting me if I wasn't following him because they didn't tag me. And I'm like, well, I have over 20,000 people on Instagram. Why wouldn't you tag me? Yeah. Oh, hey, like you barely have any followers. Like that would have been smart for you to tag me and ask me to be a collaborator so that you could get that cross promotion and get some eyes on your page and it's more engagement. Like that's the name of the game, right? So
of course you have to tag.
Yeah. So like I saw that and I'm like, what a waste of money that is. And then they had created a caption that made no sense whatsoever. So I sent him a message and I highly doubt he got it. I think it was one of the VAs. And I'm like, this caption doesn't make any sense because it's saying it from his point of view and it's really me that's saying that is the one that's talking.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, you might want to change that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is the problem if you just hire a VA and you don't have the capability to train them. You know how to train them in certain areas. So our VAs are dedicated just for your business.
Okay.
Right. So if you saw in your VA was posting hypothetically, right, you would be able to say, hey Jeff, like you have to tag. And so now they're like, okay, I write this down. Now when I post, I tag.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to like figure out whose point of view it's coming from and write it from their point of view.
Yeah.
So you're training them once, hopefully, right? And then they're understanding that, and then they can adapt and help you grow. I've had the call centers where like they're answering the phone for our business. I don't even know who the customer's talking to.
Okay.
Oh, I talked to somebody in your office, but then it's at the call center, and call centers high turnover.
Yeah.
Working for multiple businesses. Like this VA sounds like he's posting from multiple companies.
Yeah.
So he's getting a little bit from a bunch of different companies. So how does that help you grow as a business owner? It doesn't.
Right.
You need people that are on your team dedicated to your business, the hours that they're working to really get the impact that you want in your business.
Yeah.
There's always cheaper out there. You can always find the cheapest, but that isn't necessarily the best.
Right.
And we offer virtual concierge service is cost effective from hiring somebody locally in the United States. So it's cost effective, but it's not the cheapest because we come in and help train, help grow your business, create systems and processes so that you can take it to the next level. So I guess that's our differentiating factor from other virtual assistant companies is we're a training and mentorship organization. And I can't tell you I want your business to grow if we're not growing our people internally, if we're not training them, mentoring them, coaching them, not only on their business, on their career side, but their personal side. Yes. What's the number way to grow as an individual? It's personal development. If I want to grow my business, who do I have to focus on? I have to focus on growing Joey first. I can't grow my business without growing myself.
Right.
I have to grow me in order to help others grow and to help business grow. And not only do I have to do that, but then I have to create alignment with understanding my employees' goals and understanding my business goals and create alignment with their goals and the business goals so we can achieve things together. So when the business achieves milestones, they're achieving personal milestones. And so it's this alignment that we have to create. And what I love about it is if we're doing that within our business, that's what we can do. We can help you do that in your business. So it's awesome. It's so synergistic that I love it.
So I have a couple questions. So I get the emails from these independent ones that are like, oh, $12 an hour, I'll help you do X, Y, Z. And they give me the whole list of stuff. So what does it look like if someone works with you? Because I can't imagine it's going to be $12 an hour if you're providing all this back-end training, help, and alignment with someone's business.
So that's a great question. So for part-time, it would be $12 an hour, and that's minimum of 20 hours a week. For full-time, that's $10 an hour, 40 hours a week.
Wow.
So, yeah, we do provide a lot of additional service because we want to add as much value as possible to who we're working with. And make it cost effective, right? I want you to see the benefit of, what we're doing, and these people are dedicated just to you. We outsource them from the Philippines. So that's why
I was going to ask you where you found them. Yeah, okay.
Cost effective because one of the things that we had was, I have a U.S.-based person that's going to charge me $15 an hour. So why would I pay $10 an hour for a foreigner to do it? That's what she said. I'm paying U.S. And I told her, I was like, that's a great question. The U.S. base at $15 an hour, you are not her only client during her hours. She couldn't afford to live for $15 an hour. You were her one client.
Right.
That $15 an hour, she has 10 clients that are paying her $15 an hour. So your work is divided really within 15 other businesses.
Yeah.
10 businesses. Our people work just for you. And this is a highly sought after job in the Philippines. We pay them a way above average from the national median salary. Yep. So they're grateful for the opportunity. And it's kind of cool. Every time I'm on like a meeting and my wife overhears it, she's like, oh my gosh, they're always so happy.
Yeah.
They're always so great. They're always so, there's like a light. And because they're just so appreciative of just having the opportunity to have a decent job.
Yeah. Unlike here where people don't want to work at all.
No, they don't want. You get them $20 an hour, and it's like a headache, right? It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's really horrible. It's sad almost, right? They're not grateful at all. They don't show up. They're like, they're on drugs. What's going on? Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because somebody hired us, and they took their office remote, and they had an office manager, and then they hired us to bring a VA in full time to work and help out with some of the office stuff, and all of a sudden, I get a note from the business owner saying, hey, we're having some issues with your VA. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good because Dan's there, Bonza, he does a great job. It was a communication issue. So their communication issue, just things were being relayed from the office manager to Dan appropriately. And Dan thought he was helping out some things when in reality it wasn't. So communication issue, we get to the bottom of it. And so now we monitor. Like we already monitor, but now we're like, we have somebody sitting in on meetings, on Zoom calls with Dan. This office manager wasn't showing up to meetings, was like on their 4:00 like powwows at the end of the day, wasn't showing up.
Whoa.
Then we start monitoring. And I said, if she's not there 5 minutes after meeting starts, you email the business owner, myself, and our manager over here.
Yeah. So
we can see. She showed up 15 minutes late, and I only believe that because she saw the email that was sent.
Yeah.
So not only did he get a VA that did a great job, but we also spotted somebody, an office manager, who wasn't doing her job and helped this business owner discover that. Yeah. He's paying the office manager $40 an hour. And what's crazy is she can be replaced with a VA.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, oh my gosh, Joey, like, thank you guys. So it ended up being like what I thought was a bad situation into like, we helped this guy discover something about his business.
Well, that's unfortunate because she was taking advantage, clearly.
Yeah, taking advantage of
And these people, their sense of entitlement. I'm a hard worker, clearly, or else I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And it's like I take such tremendous pride in my work, and so when you hear stories like that, it's just like they make it bad for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Oh, and she's throwing the blame on somebody else.
Right.
That's horrible. Like, that's not good.
Not a very good manager then. Take responsibility. So I've got one more question. We're going to start wrapping things up. So in terms of when you hire a VA, so for like someone like myself, just so like if anybody's listening and you're curious about doing this, I always am concerned about the level of access they have to all my stuff, right? So clearly if they're going to be working on the podcast of my business, everybody knows that they're going to be working on my podcast and taking away a lot of those day-to-day things that I have to do. They would have to have complete access to all my files, my computer, my social media. And that makes me nervous because I have been hacked before. I still don't have my original Facebook profile back from several years ago where my podcast page is. I'm not connected from my Instagram to my podcast page on Facebook because that original profile was taken. So
Yeah.
like that's a concern. So like I'm very like after that experience and when I got hacked, those hackers were going after all my contacts trying to scam them for money. And so I had a lot of people, like my phone was blowing up and I'm like, number one, I would never ask you for money. Number two, I had people post for me like Deanna's account got hacked. Do not engage. And so that kind of feeling is terrible. Like when someone hacks. So like that was kind of caused some PTSD, so to speak. And so like the thought of having to give someone access to all those things is very scary to me.
Yeah, well, that's just one, hiring people. Number one, you're going to have to give access, whether they're overseas or in the United States. People are going to have some sort of access to your business. And that's just what you have to grow in the first place. I don't only think that, oh man, I'm giving access that has to happen. Now, there's levels of access that you can give. Like for example, my QuickBooks, I give my accountant access over my QuickBooks. They don't have the main access.
Right. Yeah.
Same with social media. They can have an employee access or the admin access that might control that doesn't give them the full capabilities. And that's exactly what you need to do here, right? If you don't want to give them the main account access, if you can help it. Now, there might be certain CRMs or certain things where that may have to happen, but typically they give you that manager access where you have the owner access and they have the manager access. And that's always been my experience, right? I guess that's the downside of hiring people. You're always at risk.
Right.
So that's why we have to pre-screen what we do on our end is we pre-screen. We make sure that we're bringing people that are very good and have a good track record in front of you before you go through an interview process on your own with them and pick and choose the VA that you want to hire.
Yeah.
That same if you're hiring somebody locally, you're going to have to do the background check, make sure you go through an interview with them, right? Even locally, because I've had inspectors or in our inspection business try to steal data out on their own and try to then be my competitor. And unfortunately, that's just part of being
I know,
right? Like, but you just have to protect yourself and have those safeguards and make sure that you can strip their access at any minute. Sure, that you have the ability to.
I mean, have you ever had a negative experience like that with any VA?
Oh no, I have.
Okay.
Not the virtual assistant on my end. I've had it as local employees.
Yeah.
Worse than that. But luckily, I've never been robbed for money or anything like that. I've had contacts be scrubbed from U.S. people that I had checks on and stuff. But no, my VA experience has been good for the most part. I've had the horror stories of like, oh, they were sleeping on the job when they didn't show up, and that's why we have somebody monitoring their activity over in the Philippines to ensure that stuff doesn't happen.
Okay.
We track their screen time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're active. So we have safeguards in place to ensure it doesn't happen.
Okay.
We don't want people taking advantage. They have to check in. They have to check out.
Yeah.
They have to take screenshots of their screen time, of their streams throughout the day to make sure that we know that they're on their streams.
Yeah.
And that's, it's like what Ray said. We trust, but we have to verify.
Well,
I give trust freely until you break. Right. But I'm going to verify the trust the whole way.
Then one last question. And so you can hire a VA to do your social media, help you do like lead generation, do all, like, you can hire one person through you for multiple different tasks, correct?
Yeah. You say you do scheduling.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I've had the artists, people are always concerned about the English part, right? I started off utilizing them as schedulers. Then my next was calling businesses for lead generation.
Okay.
And my next thing was lead generation on pre-foreclosure investment properties. So I've had them on the phones for that's how I started.
Okay.
But they can, if you think about like anything that your office staff and their office stuff can be done remote, they can do.
Sure.
Scheduling, lead gen, CRM management, social media, running ads, they're trainable. They can be trained to do anything, which is fantastic, right? What we have nowadays is YouTube University. If you have a CRM, they have videos that can be watched.
Oh, yeah.
VAs come in and they have a base knowledge of certain CRMs, but then they become more of an expert in that CRM than even the business owner, because Deanna, you don't have time to sit there and watch hours of videos on the CRM using. They do, right? Because that's what they're hired to do. And so every VA that I hired knows my CRM better than I do. No, I have a general overview of it. I'm not saying I'm dumb and I don't know anything about CRM. I do. I can get around.
Yeah.
But they know more about it. And when they have problems with the CRM, they say, hey, Joey, I'm having an issue. Use the chat feature and hit up the chat on how to do it. Because I want you to be, don't come to me with problems. Come to me with a problem, but also bring a solution.
Yeah.
And that's how we train our people. Like, don't go to, the business owner is hiring you, not for more problems.
Right.
They're hiring you to solve those problems. So yeah, bring a problem to the end, but then bring the solution. And she may say, hey, look, yeah, I'm glad I like that solution, but here's why this solution may be better.
Yeah.
So you're coming with a solution, but you may have even better solution because you're seeing things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what we train our guys and girls to do, is to be problem solvers, to be solution oriented, to not create problems, but help solve them.
Right. Joey, where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more about virtual concierge services? And obviously, if they're interested in the home inspector course as well.
Yeah, so they can find me vaconciergeservices.com, at Joey Donofrio _ on Instagram. I post a lot of content on that platform, joeydonofrio.com as well. I'd love to connect with you guys and help you guys out and get your business to the next level. Even if it's like just a consult, it's no obligation. I'm not going to charge money just to have a Zoom meeting or anything like that. I am truly passionate about helping businesses get to the next level because I've been there. And the cool thing is it's very easy to do it if you know what you're doing. It's not easy. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
We overcomplicate things in our head. That doesn't have to be that way. So
you guys, I'm going to put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Joey today or interested in learning more, go click those links, go send him a message, go check out his websites, and make that connection to see where it can go. You never know. Joey, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Don't overcomplicate things. Don't put the worry before the problem. And that's my own advice, by the way, that I've been saying, don't put the worry before the problem. Don't worry before something happens. Things can be very easily solved. And you are closer than you think you are. If you are that entrepreneur that's struggling, you're juggling so many hats, you're overwhelmed, you're working 80, 90 hours a week, you are closer than you think you are, and we can help you.
Yes. No, I love it. And I just think that this is like the natural flow for the future is having VAs. This is just the world that we live in. And once people start getting more and more comfortable around that, the easier it's going to be for them. And don't overcomplicate it. Well, Joey, this has been a blast. Thank you so much. And love all of your success and you finding a niche in the marketplace, the home market, and in just solving problems for businesses. I absolutely love it. Thank you very much for sharing what you do with us today.
Thank you, Deanna. You were great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.